I wanted to get this done before I go to bed, but what is up, YouTube people out there? Um, this is actually going to be a somewhat of a special occasion, a special review, and I'm going to do this like maybe once or twice, depending on how successful. Well, I wouldn't really say successful, like how many views and motivation I would get from doing these reviews. In this one, I'm going to do both Castlevania Lords of Shadow 1 and 2. Now, before I begin, there is this really good friend of mine that would not stop with the whole, you need to play this, or you need to finish it, because I gave it a couple of chances and it just didn't fit me until he finally gave me that final, how do I put this, steel-toe boot up the ass in order to get me to actually bear with it. And I'm glad he did, because let me tell you something, I enjoyed both of them. But to be honest with you, 1 is actually more superior than 2. And here are my reasons, but before I get into that, I'm going to start off with reviewing number 1. It is back in the correct set of time, as most Castlevania games do, where you have creatures of the night flocking all over the place, and you got one lonely man that goes around killing them, and he goes by the name of Gabriel Belmont. Now, in this universe, he's actually the very first Belmont to take up the name and the legacy, aside from all the other ones. And boy, does he have his life already in shambles. His wife murdered 2 days ago by mysterious forces, and he has to go and find out a way to bring her back. And the only way to do that is to defeat the Lords of Shadow and recreate the God Mask that will help bring the dead back to life, or so they say. I gotta tell you, he definitely needs to whip them into shape, don't you think? Oh god, I am so going to hell for that. You got goblins, you got werewolves, you got vampires, you got God knows life-sucking things all over the place. And you go around the land, finding and collecting upgrades to your combat cross, not just to your primary weapon, but you also get a few other weapons as well. As you progress through the game, you actually find armor pieces, I would call them, that once belonged to the Lords of Shadow. Well, at least only one does, and those are the footwear. The Dark Gauntlet you get from a Protector, while you get the angelic wings from Carmilla, who, in my opinion, is actually more interesting in this one than in the second one. And not only that, but throughout the game, you'll have these certain magical belts that grant you the power of light and shadow magic. And throughout the game, you'll find gems that will help you increase your maximum light, shadow, and even your health, which it really does come in handy. And as you defeat enemies, you get experience points, and you can use those experience points to buy new moves. And as you progress further along the story and you collect like the footwear or the gauntlet or the wings, you can actually buy moves that allow you to like mix and match with them. Say like you can mix the greaves. I think that's what they're called. The greaves with the gauntlet to make a super sprint over their heads and firewall slash, and even finish it off with the whip move, or one of my personal favorites is where you mix the angelic wings with the gauntlet, which is a little thing I like to call Heaven's Shotgun. Oh, my friend's gonna kill me, I know. This is one of those stories that is completely inspiring. It's one of those things that allows you to see that one person with enough motivation, with the sheer will and power, only driven by love, can accomplish anything. Which is exactly what Gabriel is all about. And even the ending itself is just sad. Every time I beat the game and I watch the ending, like, I can't help but bust a tear for this guy. The acting and depicting of the characters' emotions are just flawless, in my opinion, in this game. It's really a masterpiece, and one that deserves to be in your PS3 library. Now on to Lords of Shadow 2. Now, I'm gonna bust this out real quick. I actually completed this one first before I completed the first one, and I regret doing that. But the second one, I have to say, it's good. It's good. It has its ups and downs, and it's even got a few things that one-ups on number one. But as I said before, number one is better, and for the reasons of which I'm about to say later on. But first, after the events of Mirror of Fate, which I never played, so I can't review it. For those of you that have played it, you'll know what I'm talking about, or you could just go in and watch the thing on YouTube, like I did. But after the events of Mirror of Fate, Gabriel, who is now known as Dracula or Dracu, the dragon, sits in the castle that once belonged to Carmilla and once housed the Forgotten One demon from the DLC of the first game, where instead of being a Brotherhood of Light anymore, he now fends them off. He kills them because now they're after him. So he's like, "You're gonna come after me? I'm gonna kill you." Which, is logical, predator thing. And at the end of the first game, where they had like that little secret ending after the credits, where it shows Zobek in a suit, and you find yourself in modern day society, completely oblivious to everything until Zobek offers you a deal. Eternal peace, where he has in his possession the Combat Cross, or people nickname it the Vampire Killer. But in order for you to get what you want, he says you have to help him. Since you defeated Satan in the first game, his acolytes, or like his sons and daughters, are out to resurrect him and welcome him to the world for him to take over. And Zobek needs your help to stop him again. Now, throughout this, you go from modern day society to like back to the castle, kind of like a little paradox thing going on, where you'll have like the kid version of your son walking or running around the castle, and then you'll end up finding your dead wife, who actually plays a bigger part in this game than she did in the last one. And they even bring back the Mirror of Fate in this one with its shattered pieces that you got to go around and collect later on in the game. Now, in this game, when you had shadow and light magic, they revved it up to more creative way. Like the light magic is now the Void Sword, which sucks the life out of your enemies while still attacking them, and the shadow magic it becomes the Chaos Claws, which more damage, of course. And I give them props for creativity, really I do. But as the game progressed, I keep forgetting that I had those, and I just kept on using the whip out of force of habit of a Castlevania game. Throughout this game, as you go around, the city and finding, you know, your other family members. I'm sorry, it's kind of late, so my mind is a little just bear with me. Man, oh man, my friend is definitely gonna kill me. I swear. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth from the city to the castle, killing one acolyte to another, gathering information on finding out when and where Satan is supposedly gonna come back. And even your son Trevor or Alucard plays a role in this, and you can even play as him as a DLC character in I guess you can say kind of like the prequel of the game itself. The game itself, it takes a lot of twists and turns, and it even adds like sneaking and puzzling. Well, of course there's puzzles. This is Castlevania, but the puzzles weren't really much of a problem as it was the sneaking missions, especially with Agrius. Oh my god. And there were a few other sneaking missions too. Say that for those of you that played the game will know this, that one tower where you had like 2 or 3 of those bodyguards and you had to like miss your way through the door at the very last second. Right now my friend's watching it and he's like, I hate that part so much. And believe me, it was a pain in the ass. Now when it comes to the fight with Zobek, and let me tell you something, it was satisfying as all hell to finally kill the living crap out of him for all the crap that he did put you through. Although killing him was a little disappointing. I mean, really, your biggest thing is to surround yourself while you're healing. Guess what? Missed and kill him. Simple as that. Even the same with Satan, who was not impressive as he was in the first game. The first game, he actually looked like, Satan. He actually looked like someone that God casted down from the heavens and into the earth to be imprisoned for 1,000 years in chains. But this guy, he looks like a buffed up, stereotypical, steroid-inducing version of, I don't know, Goliath mixed with Man-Bat. As I said before, the fighting with Satan at the last boss fight was disappointing. The fact that he uses your son's body as both a shield and a way of killing you was disappointing. Even the ending was disappointing. I mean, shattering the mirror after you spent all that time looking for the pieces, I was like, at least keep it or something hanging up on in your castle. You see him walking back in the castle, at least hang it up somewhere. I mean, come on. But other than that, regardless, I had fun. As I said before, 1 is better than 2, but that's my opinion. How you see it and how you see my opinion on this one, that's completely up to you. And that pretty much marks this double review. As always, if you have a suggestion or an underrated game, PS3 or PS2, I do special requests too. As always, put it as a comment below, or if you have any constructive criticism, I take that too. Other than that, this is Church Invincible Lincoln signing off.